All right. Thank you so much for joining me for some yoga. And we are going to go ahead and get started. We are going to do some seated stuff first. If we have time, we'll move to some standing stuff, but we're going to start seated. So go ahead and grab a nice clear space on the floor. You can drop those shoulders away from the ears, adjust the posture. I'm going to be seated nice and tall. If you need, you can put a pillow or a blanket under the hips. Sometimes that's helpful. So example, I've got my little blanket here. You could use a towel, whatever you got, and you can put that under the hips. I love props, so you're going to see me use lots of props. We're dropping the shoulders away. What we're going to do is we're going to do a 3-part inhale breath. Some of you have done this with me before. We're going to fill up our lungs over the course of 3 inhales. So we're going to fill up, and then we're going to pause. Sorry, I was waiting out my yawn. And then we're going to fill up to about 2/3 full. And then we're going to go up till we're all the way full. So imagine it's like you're filling up a tank. So maybe you go from the very bottom of your lungs to about 1/3 of the way up, about another 1/3, and then all the way up to the top. So just imagine you're over the course of 3 breaths, you're filling up. Okay, perfect. So let's do that together. Let all the air out. And you'll see what I mean if you're not following me. Don't worry. Here we go. Filling up 1/3 of the way, breathing in through the nose. Stop and hold for a second. Breathe in again. Stop and hold for a second. Breathe in one more time. All the way to the top. And now exhale. Let all the air out. So you see what I mean? We're not taking exhales between those breaths. You're just taking 3 sections to fully inhale, right? So let's do it again together. Breathing in. You filled up 1/3 of the way. Breathing in again. And one more. Excuse me. And now slowly let that air out. Keep going, keep going. Let it all out, let it all out. Beautiful. Also, I've got my furry friend in the background. So if he shows up, sorry, you're going to see me do some dog yoga today. Awesome. Let's go ahead and just take our arms, raise them up nice and high, reach those fingers. And then let's go ahead and just pull those elbows down, parallel arms. And now we're going to do a pose I like to call jazz hands, where you're pushing those arms back. These hands are out. You can shake them if you want. Here we go. Dog yoga about to happen. Downward dog. Say hey to my friend. Beautiful. Just stay in that pose. He's like, what are you doing? Drop one hand down on the ground. Stretch the left hand up. Reach and root that left hip down. Hello. We're not doing downward dog now. That's hand, by the way. Reach, reach, reach. And come back to center. Root that left hand down. Reach the right arm up. He wants to come out. So hold this thought. Root that hip down. I'm going to let him out. I guess I was boring for him. And go ahead and bring that arm on down. Beautiful. Whew. Awesome. And maybe let's do like a little twist here. So take your left hand, place it on the outside of that right knee. Lift the chest, turn to look behind the right shoulder. And come back. Here we go. Right hand comes up, place it on the outside of the left knee, lift the chest, turn, look over the left shoulder. And coming on back to center. Beautiful. We're going to take a moment to set an intention. Setting an intention is basically where we just set a purpose or we set a thought or a goal or we have some sort of something we want to think about. And I'm going to offer one for you. Think this as I say it with us. I am a living being in a human experience. I am a living being in a human experience. We're all human beings. We're all living beings in a human experience. And that will be our thought for the day. Here we go. Next thing we're going to do. We're going to rock the baby. So I want you to go ahead and pull that knee up. And maybe this is where you stay, where you just hug it. Or if you can put that right foot in the crook of your arm, grab the leg, and just rock it back and forth. We're giving our hip sockets a little massage. Just rock that baby. Rock it back and forth, whatever feels good to you. Swinging it side to side. Maybe roll it around. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring it down. Same thing, other side. Start by just bringing the knee towards the chest. So maybe you hug it, and maybe this is where you stay. Or maybe you take that foot, place it in the crook of the right arm, and just rock it back and forth. Swaying side to side. Whatever feels good to you. Awesome. Gently lower that foot out. What we're going to do now is we're going to stretch those feet straight out in front of us. You see I've got my little toes right there. I'm going to sit up nice and straight. I'm making essentially a 90-degree angle with my body. You see what I'm doing here? What we're going to do is we're going to stay like this for a second. Hands can be on either side of the hips. Head is gazing straight forward. Drop those shoulders away. Lift the heart. Beautiful. And from here, I want you to reach up and fold. And if your hands land here on your shins, that's fine. We're hinging from the hips. I don't care if you can't reach your toes. That's not important to me. What I want you to do is just fold. And wherever you land is where you land. You can keep a little bend in the knee if you need to. No worries. Breathe into it. Maybe go a little deeper if you can. And slowly roll up. Beautiful. We'll take a break from the folding ones. We will come back to it. Next thing I want you to do, I'm actually going to move my blanket out of the way. We're going to take, now follow me on this one. It's a little complicated. Take your left foot and bring it over to the right side. So this is my left foot. I'm bringing it over towards my right hip. Okay. Next, think rocking the baby like we just did. Pulling that left leg over to, the right leg over to the left side. So you're bringing your left leg over to the right, your right leg over to the left, and they're crossing over each other. You're trying to stack your knees one on top of the other. Now, this one takes a lot of practice, so you might find that you're like right here. That's okay. No worries. I'm going to get adjusted here. I'm going to stay here. This is cow face pose is what they call this. My knees are stacked. Now's a good time to watch the breath. Think about what your breath is doing. What we're trying to do is tone your nervous system. Do you want to be like the gazelle or do you want to be like the cheetah? The gazelle shuts down, fight, flight, freeze at a moment's notice, panics, freezes. The cheetah is calm and collected in stress. Its nervous system is prepared for even the slightest movement of the gazelle. It's calculating, it's strong, it's calm. That's what we're going for, focused awareness. If you'd like, you can fold from here, walking those hands out. Don't hurt yourself. And we're going to lock it up. Beautiful. Slowly unwind those legs. We'll do a little bit of a different thing. Place those feet together, kind of like a butterfly pose. We call it cobbler in yoga. And if you want, you can stay like this, just the feet together. You can adjust how deep the stretch is. The closer your feet are, obviously, the more intense the stretch is going to be. Slide those feet away from you. It's not going to feel as intense. And grabbing the feet, fold, even if it's only a couple of inches. Beautiful. Breathe into it. See if you can go a little further. And slowly come up. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side that we just did a minute ago. So I want you to bring that right foot over to the left, towards your left hip. This left leg is going to stack right on top. Knees are stacked on top of each other. And if they can't come all the way, just try to get them as close as you can without hurting yourself. Left legs cross over to the right side of my body. Right legs cross over to the left side of my body. Hips are rooted down. Knees stacked one on the other. Breathe into it. And if you'd like, you can fold. Nice long neck here. And walk those hands back up. Beautiful. Similarly, so before you totally unwind, go ahead and leave that right leg on the ground. Left leg's going to come up, but you're going to plant the sole of your foot on the floor so that your left ankle is butting up against your right knee, right? Beautiful. I'm going to turn myself so you can see me better, okay? What we're going to do now is you're going to plant that right hand. You're going to do like a little high five in the air with your left elbow up against that left knee. And we're going to turn and gaze over the right shoulder. It's a little twist. It's called Lord of the Fishes. Ground through that hip, ground through the left foot. Lifting the chest, beautiful. Come back this way, twist the other side, leave the feet exactly where they are. Counter twist, we're waking up our spine. Beautiful, I love that. Unwind those legs. Go ahead and drop the left knee down towards the floor. Place the right ankle up against that left knee. Right hand's gonna come to the inside of the right knee. The left hand's gonna plant on the ground behind us. Again, I'm trying to show you the best angle here. This is what we're going for, Lord of the Fishes. Root down into that sole of the right foot. Here's another place where if you have a book or a block, you can use it to bring the ground up to you. Beautiful. We're going to counter twist here. Again, I'm going to turn so you can see me better. Leave your feet where they are. Just bring the left hand across the body to the outside of that right knee and twist the other way. This is one of those poses where like normally I would pop my back. It feels so good. I'm not going to do that right now though. Mostly just because it doesn't feel like it needs it. Normally I would. And go ahead and unwind. Beautiful. Go ahead and sit like this, where you got your soles of your feet planted onto the ground. Sitting up nice and straight. What we're going to do is we're going to go into boat pose. So you're going to gently kind of lean back and balance on your hips. Maybe this is where you stay. Or you can lift those knees up, those legs parallel with the floor. Bonus, keep your hands to the side. And if you really want to challenge, straighten those legs out. Lifting the chest. I'm going to leave my legs right here. See if you can hold it. Maybe do some toe taps on the ground, just for fun. Ooh, now that feels like a workout. Holding them here. And go ahead and come back up. Sit up nice and straight. Beautiful. I love it. Awesome. Let's do a couple maybe standing poses just because we're here. Got just a couple more minutes and then we'll rest. I'm going to adjust my screen so where you can see me standing up a little better. Awesome. Go ahead and stand. Take a nice wide lunge here. Knee stacked over the ankle. Back foot catty corner. Sweep those hands up, sinking down into it. Warrior one. Press down into the outer edge of the back foot. Imagine your back foot is just this like razor's edge blade. You're going to cut the floor with how sharp and pointy it is. That's what kind of edge we're looking for. Open it up. Warrior two. Imagine someone's pulling on that back hand. We love to do this right here with our warrior two, but have those shoulders stacked over the hips. Beautiful. Gaze over those front fingertips. Awesome. Turn your feet to be facing the screen. Forward fold. Swan dive down. Plant the hands. Nod the head yes. Shake the head no. And slowly roll up. Beautiful. Same thing other side. Point your right foot now. Stack that right knee over the right foot. Turn that back foot at that little razor's edge. Catty corner again. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Sweep the hands up. Warrior one. Engage your core. Imagine you're bringing your belly button towards your spine. Beautiful. Open it up. Warrior two. Breathe into it. Awesome. Turn those feet. Forward fold once again. This time we're going to twist. Open up to the right side. Leaving that left hand planted on the ground. Reach, reach, reach. Bring the right hand down. Open up left side. And now bring that hand down. Awesome. Walk the hands towards the top of your mat or your area. Cross the legs. Sit down. Roll onto your back. Oh, beautiful. That feels nice. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock back and forth. Give yourself a little hug. In pandemic world, we're not able to give people hugs as much as we used to. We need it. Maybe stretch one leg out. Pointing and flexing the toe. Maybe stretching the other foot out. Pointing and flexing it. Beautiful. Roll maybe little circles. Go crazy. Maybe both feet in the air. Go nuts. And when you're ready, I want you to float your legs on down to where they're touching the floor. Let those feet fall away from each other. You can use a blanket or a pillow here under the knees, under the neck or the head. Whatever you need to do to make yourself 5% more comfortable. And while you're laying here, there's no right or wrong way to meditate. No one's really good at turning off their thoughts. That's not what meditation is. It's not about not thinking. It's about thinking about your thinking. It's about watching what's going on. But if that's too confusing and I'm losing you, then let me give you a job. Your job is just to watch your breath. You can notice the sensation of the air coming in and out of your nose, or you can count your breaths. You can count how many breaths you have, or you can count to keep yourself having long breaths. You can count to 5 for every inhale and count to maybe 6 for every exhale. I'll let you decide what you want to do. We'll do this for 2 minutes. So go ahead and find what you're going to focus on during this time of rest. About 1 minute left. If you've noticed your mind has started to wander, see if you can spend this last minute just watching your breathing. And when you're ready, I want you to go ahead, taking all the time you need, roll onto one side or the other. Feel free to do that very slowly, to take your time waking up, wiggling your fingers or your toes. There's no need to rush out of this. And after you've taken a couple of breaths here on your side, will you go ahead and gently bring yourself back to a seated position. Hands resting on your knees, shoulders back and down. And I want to quiz you. Do you remember our intention that we set at the beginning? What was that thing that I said? If you need help remembering, I will say it again. I'm a living being in a human experience. We are all living beings in human experiences. once we start realizing that people are more similar to us than they are different, that is when we will have pure joy and pure freedom. We stop recognizing what makes us so different from another person or another group of people, and we start realizing that actually we're like 99% the same, exactly down to our DNA, every bit of us. I mean, I think we share like 85% DNA with a banana. I mean, come on, we're not that different from a banana. Then look at the person next to you. It doesn't matter what they believe or what kind of food they like or where they get their news from. They're a living being and a human experience just like you. And they made choices, and the choices that they make, they make those choices because they feel like they have to. And some of those choices might be good, some of those choices may not be good, might be not stuff we agree with. But once we realize that we're more similar than we are different, then we can begin to have empathy for people. So you are a living being in a human experience, and I am a living being in a human experience. And let's go forth and see all beings as living, unique individuals in human experiences. Thanks so much for doing yoga with me. I felt like that took like this much time. And I appreciate you being with me.